Right, greetings everyone. It is time for the SOC re-rolling video Umber Arrays style, and I'm going to give my perspective and advice and whatnot. Now, as for re-rolling in this game, it's not too bad. It's not the best I've ever experienced. The best I've ever experienced is still Princess Connect. Not that I go around testing every game, but this one's pretty good. It takes roughly about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what you're re-rolling, how good your device is, blah, 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 blah. But about 10 to 20 minutes is what essentially you're looking at for re-rolling. I think mine is particularly pretty fast experience on the phone. Before we actually run through a re-roll, I want to talk about this. The re-rolling on the phone I have found is particularly very quick for a couple of reasons. One is because of the general way that you do this is by holding a finger on the screen while you're going through the game, it actually speeds up animations and text boxes and everything. And if you can operate like a secondary tapping to get through the skip menus and the skip to make everything essentially go faster, it's really, really fast. So I would recommend doing it on a phone, providing your phone is pretty good. And then just doing that double finger method, for lack of a better name. I guess we could call it the Umber Rays method. But anyway, holding down and tapping with the second finger, it does have a little bit of input issues when you're issuing commands in battle maps, but in general, it's really, really fast, and I recommend it. All right, so here we are, SOC, time to start a new account. Now, when you are starting a new account on this game, there is 3 options that appear on the screen. I may have already chosen it here, but there's like login with a Google account, login with a Facebook account, and a guest account. You want to click the guest account because it is essentially, you haven't decided yet that you're going to keep this account. You do not want to bind anything yet. So as such, just kind of always choose guest. As you can see here, we are going through relatively quickly. I am doing the thing where I am holding the screen, or holding my mouse down on the screen on emulator. It still makes the animations generally go faster. Much, much slower than this if you just let it run. Also, if you want, just click the top button so it auto advances, although, you know, just holding down on the screens what's going to be essentially our bread and butter for going fast. Then you'll eventually get in the bottom right hand corner this little option to essentially skip a bunch of stuff. There is some loading screens and whatnot. Loading is masked by that. But anyway, all right, so as you can see, holding down skips that. We can essentially skip through the text by just continually clicking that button. And then when you're going through and clicking the animation, holding down on the screen or holding down on your mouse on the emulator screen will make the animations go generally a little bit faster, which is, you know, good for trying to get through this relatively quickly. And you can see I've done this quite a few times, so at this point, you know essentially how to get through this. But yeah, I do find emulator slower than the phone, even though my phone is not the best phone in the world. It actually has a bunch of like hiccups and stuff when it's actually running and trying to skip over things. So the performance does get a little bit of hitching and whatnot, which I would assume from loading. Don't bother choosing a name. It's not really important. And if it's like most gacha games, you can probably change it later. If you can't change it later, well, maybe you'll just be running with the basic name, but just use your imagination if you have one of those. So yeah, skipping through a bunch of this. That cutscene apparently does not have an actual skip for it, which, okay. And, you know, we're also just skipping story spoilers for anybody who wants to. I mean, if you want to watch it once through this, totally worth it. You get acclimated to the game's story and characters and everything. But for re-rolling purposes, you kind of just want to go as fast as possible. So, yeah, holding through all of that. Lots and lots of text dialogues teaching you how to play really basic stuff of the game. skipping through, back this one, why not? All right, and cleared our second mission, getting closer and closer to that Gacha point where we will talk about characters and everything like that. But yeah, this video will also be quite nice for showing you just how fast it can be. Again, phone just a little bit quicker than this just because of the double tapping thing that you can do with it. It is particularly pretty nice. Sure, there are probably some macros and whatnot that you could download if you really want to, but I am not keenly aware of them. And again, I don't find the rerolling that egregious. Alright, so next map. Over here, like this. Get rid of that. Skip through a bunch of stuff. Over here, use the ability on the exploding barrel. Very, very easy, not remotely challenging, just a little bit time consuming. Alright, now we have this screen, which for whatever reason, sometimes it can be a little slow to get these abilities to click in. But yeah, just click in really, really fast. If you don't like clicking on stuff, just hold down that mouse as fast as you possibly can go. Performance on LD is very, very smooth, which is nice for a brand new game. A lot of games when they come out sometimes don't work on emulators, or you have to get workarounds. For me, it was just really quickly load up LD, download the game, works perfectly fine. Now this gacha is this initial gacha that you see right here. It has no opportunities to be anything different. It's basically always just the exact same stuff. I haven't really compared if all of the base units are the exact same every time, but it's essentially these two characters, which you are always guaranteed to get. All right, so skipping on through. And we have almost, at this point, actually completed the general, really fast version of rerolling, where this is essentially if you want to try and get, like, a really, really good start with just, you know, a great character right off the bat. This is the general method that I would think. This game, from what I've read and talked about with different content creators and different people, I mean, it is somewhat important to have good units. Like, the best tier units are better, but free-to-play units can actually be just as competitive as like pay-to-win units, which I think is very, very encouraging. This game being really, really friendly. Like, a lot of my viewers are votive players and are kind of frustrated even a little bit on just how pay-to-win that game has become. So this is a little bit nice. You can also skip an animation attack by moving her back one. Not super relevant, but it can save you just a wee bit of time. And skipping through the last little bit of text, we get our level up. And we are through. All right. So this will take us back to the main screen at this point. We will get our first daily login, which, by the way, if you click out of this, it just keeps bringing you back. So make sure you just click on it to get your stuff. Go into the mailbox icon. Just claim basically everything. You can clear everything out if you want, but not super important. And then you click down here on this card icon. That is where we are going to go to do our first initial pulls. Now, talking about characters really quickly and banners. The most The generally agreed upon top 4 seems to be this. So this guy is one of the top 4. He doesn't really particularly have a super good up rate at the moment, so I don't think that he is one that you should necessarily be trying for. This banner I kind of like because it has 2 really good up-rated units. This one is a water-based assassin type character who has an advantage of if she can kill a unit from the back or the side, she gets another turn. It's just generally supposed to be pretty strong. From my experience that I played on my phone with an account with her, she was really, really good at getting me through early missions quite successfully. However, the thing I will say is that there were quite a few early on wind units which could potentially threaten her. I wasn't super, super crazy about it. Next character is Beryl. This character is like a mage-based character. She's supposed to be like amazing in PvP. She doesn't necessarily start as the best character in the entire game, but very quickly it ends up being one of the most important characters and probably one of the most important investments in terms of a PvP-based account. If you're PvP, again, you can do a lot of free-to-play stuff. You can even do that for PvP, but this is a really, really good character to get your hands on. So this banner generally feels like a good one to invest in if you're just doing initial roll. Now, this banner, on the other hand, does have top characters in it, such as, I don't know, I think it's Inanna or something like that. This character is another one of those high-end PvP characters, and the way this works is essentially after doing 30, I think you're guaranteed a legendary character. But I think that this is not the one to go on right from the get-go. I think that if you are doing rerolls, you should be trying on one of these banners. Particularly, I think the debut banner is the best, as Gloria seems to be the one that most people just agree is generally really great for first-time account. She's a light-based character, so she can be great against all 3 of the regular elements as well as dark. And she's just generally really strong. So that's the one we are going to choose to invest in. Now, as for the animation, if you just see a yellow one, you are not guaranteed a legendary. Only if it is the sparkly rainbow color one. And in terms of like choosing the tarot cards, I still am not 100% sure if this has any effect. Please, if you know that this has an effect, let me know in the comments below. I don't think it does. Let's pull down. So yeah, this one, yellow. So we're essentially not getting much of anything. The special animation will play for yellow-based characters, but yeah, we didn't get a legendary. Not super encouraging. Again, like some mid-tier characters, but again, that's not what we're looking for a new start. I mean, this is essentially the opening bit. To do another one, you would need rough 1,350 gems, which you can do, but I think if you are just re-rolling, the best thing is to not waste too much time. So just go into, as I click on the wrong stuff, this option, go into this gear icon at the bottom, click here, click on this one that just deletes an account. You will have to go through multiple steps, make sure that you are doing correctly, and boom, done. Will take you back to the main screen, and you can essentially re-roll all over again. You have this initial loading screen, but after that, you can just go again. And for the screen that I did not show at the very start, here it is. But again, if you want to bind, but you do not want to bind until you have an account that you like, so always just go guest account. And for a last little bit about the PC version. PC version apparently does not have guest account on it. I think that rerolling in general is worse on PC than it is on phone and emulator. So yeah, PC is my bottom tier for it. unless there's something I'm too terribly missing, but I haven't seen anything. And just to show you how slow this kind of is without holding it down, yeah, very, very, I think, slow. If you hold it down, it just goes a wee bit faster, which is important just to save a little bit of your life, a little bit of your time. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and look forward to seeing you in the future as we do more and more stuff, providing I eventually get a good reroll that I'm happy with.